Alright guys, well, I'm back today with a very impressive suppressor from Griffin Armament. This is the M4 SDL, but it's in the gate lock configuration, which utilizes their gate lock muzzle devices. But hear me out, it also utilizes USGI standard A2 birdcage flash hiders. You heard that correctly. It simply slides onto the birdcage flash hider, aligns with the flats, and locks into place as quick as that. I've tried this on a ton of different platforms on and off camera, and I've been running this suppressor hard to see the limitations of what this can do, and spoiler alert, it is absolutely awesome. If you've got a lot of ARs like me, and you've got a lot still containing the A2 birdcage flash hider, or you thought about getting into the suppressor world, but you didn't want to spend a ton of money on the muzzle devices, this is going to be a great option. Now, a lot of times when you buy a suppressor, you're also buying into the muzzle device system. For instance, a lot of companies have proprietary muzzle devices that only work with their suppressors. Now, some devices also are hub compatible, meaning they have hub threads on the end that you can swap out the different adapters, but you're still buying adapters and muzzle devices, and that can add up quickly. You know what's cheap though? A2 birdcage flash hiders, especially mil-spec A2 birdcage flash hiders, and that's what this works with. I've actually tried it with A1 birdcage flash hiders, and it also works with those as well. Now, for obvious best results, and if you want a true solid shelf to lock this up on, they do sell their gate lock QD attachments, and these work out incredibly well for the Griffin Armament gate lock design, but I actually ran this on a ton of different setups, and we'll talk about that. Now, the gate lock design is a very simple design, so let's discuss that. You have a spring tab, which is bolted into the suppressor itself. You simply slide that out, lift the gate lock up, and you pull the suppressor off. And it's that easy. Even when the suppressor is hot, you can wrap this with a cotton wrap. You can feel that underneath, pull it up, and then you're done. You don't have to grab it with your hands and ratchet it off. And that's the other cool thing about this suppressor is you don't have to torque your muzzle devices on to incredible torques, and you don't have to use like rock set to keep it on, because you're not ratcheting this on, you're not ratcheting this off. You're simply sliding it on, lining up the flats, and locking that into place so you can run it for thousands of rounds on the can without worrying about the can unthreading while it's on the muzzle device or while it's on the rifle, which just locks into place. It's not coming off, and this is going to be a great hard use can as well, that you don't have to worry about reaching up and kind of torquing it back down to see if it's walking loose. So I love the gate lock design and that aspect. I don't just love it for the ability to use the A2 birdcage flash hiders. Now, I tried a lot of A2 birdcage flash hiders, and some did not work. And Griffin specifies on their site that, hey, you're going to have to utilize the gate lock design with mil-spec A2 birdcage flash hiders. Let's run down some companies that I've used, and then we'll also kind of at the end of this video talk about the highlights of this suppressor in general, not just the gate lock design. Now, the gate lock design is also sold separately as a hub adapter. So if you already have a hub compatible can and you can't really go and spring for a new full suppressor, these guys also sell just those hub adapters that you can thread on and then convert any suppressor into a gate lock suppressor, which is absolutely awesome. I love the versatility that Griffin Armament offers in a wide variety of their cans. But let's get back to the compatibility. I tried DPMS flash hiders. They work. About 80% of PSA's flash hiders work. Every one I tried worked except for the pin and weld ones, because they have a little hump where they've welded it over, and that's just interfering with the fitment of the can. Aero Precision, Daniel Defense, and a few others all worked fine, and occasionally you'll get one that doesn't work. But the great thing about those is you can just go and grab a mil-spec A2 birdcage flash hider from somebody like even BCM or Aero Precision for like $10, and that's it. Like, that is the great thing about this system. Now let's talk about the highlights of the M4 SDL with the gate lock attachment on the end of it. The first thing is it's going to be a laser welded tubeless design, and you can see that right here. So you don't have like an internal baffle stack with the tube, so it slims up the suppressor while still keeping that solid rigidity. It's got the gate lock system, which I've absolutely fallen in love with. And then on top of that, you've got good materials used, 17.4 H900 heat-treated stainless steel. And then it also has the newer optimized cap on the end that's going to reduce flash. And you can see we've already been beating up this can, and it's been holding up great. No issues whatsoever as a hard use can. The EcoFlow baffle system works out pretty well. Now, this is by no means like a low back pressure can, and I don't think they're claiming that it's a low back pressure can. You will have to, maybe if your rifle was borderline over gas, you have to run heavier buffers to run this, or for me, a lot of times I ran the standard carbine buffer and it worked out just fine. But no, it's not going to be like a pass through or flow through design like some other cans in the market. But again, it's not designed to be that. But the EcoFlow system works out pretty good. And then it's going to have the high temp Cerakote on the outside of the can. It comes with a muzzle device inside the box itself, your suppressor in a little bag, and the wrench. And overall, it's a absolutely great setup. In summary, if you're looking for a versatile can that works with A2 birdcage flash hiders, this is it. A lot of questions I got asked on Instagram when I was featuring this is, can you use crush washers on those A2 bird cages, or do you recommend shims? Now, personally, I saw nothing about this on the website listing. Shims are always going to be your better bet. Like if you're concerned at all, if you're only mounting up a couple of muzzle devices, shims will be better. You can torque them down, you can space them out correctly. But guys, I ran this on 10 to 15 different setups, and I'd say 7 to 8 of them utilize crush washers on the birdcage flash hider just to test it. Running them quick, running them hard, no baffle strikes, no issues whatsoever. It just worked out perfectly, and I think the baffle system is forgiving enough for that. When you put it on, you will actually feel a slight rock back and forth. That's normal, and it works out great. I mean, no issues whatsoever with this can. I've absolutely fallen in love with it. I like it. I think you might too. Thanks to Griffin Armament for sending this out to the channel. Thanks to AAC for sponsoring a ton of ammo that went into making this video. Again, we ran a lot of ammo through this, and there will be a ton more because this is now in my go-to rotation. It's really refreshing to be able to use this with a standard off-the-shelf A2 birdcage flash hider, and I love the design and feel of this can. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.